Hello again. I'm going to start off by showing you a bit of footage that I took just over a week ago. For the first time ever, I may well have blight on my tomatoes. I'm not 100% sure because I've never seen it before, but this part of the plant has kind of gone black on the stem and part of the leaves, and on the bottom of the fruit we have this browning. I mean, this is not blossom end rot. I really do think that this is blight or some other kind of disease. As a precaution, I pulled the whole plant. The rest of the plant looks okay. I don't see any signs of it on these tomatoes or leaves, but you know, we have had so much rain this year that maybe this is blight. We'll make sure that all of this gets put into the green bin and not mixed in with the compost. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on the rest of the plants. But if it is blight, it's the first time I've ever had it, and well, it's a bit of a sad day. So here we are about a week later, and things have gotten worse. It's definitely blight, and some plants have got it really bad. I've already destroyed probably about a dozen plants, and I'm keeping an eye on the rest. I do have a few plants that appear to be okay, but how long for, I don't know. I'm going to separate those ones. I'm going to give everything a good dousing down with baking soda and vegetable oil, and I'm going to keep an eye on things. We've just had the wettest June on record in these parts, and having never had blight before, we took no steps to prevent it, and we weren't prepared for it. I think next year though, now we know that we can get it, it might be a different story. Okay, I'm going to give them a good prune, and I'm going to douse them down with the concoction, and then we'll take another look at them. Okay, so that's got things pruned and sprayed. These are San Mazzanos. Now, I was worried about these getting a calcium deficiency and developing blossom end rot, and as it is, there's no sign of that at all, and instead we're worrying about blight. Now over here, these are Britain's breakfast, and these came to me from Digwell Green Fingers, and it's worthy of a mention that Steve had said when he sent these that these were the last ones to succumb to the late season blight last year. So this year I think we can give Britain's breakfast a bit of a test just to see how blight resistant they are. As I already mentioned, this is the first time I've ever had blight, and I'll tell you the honest truth, I found it pretty stressful. Believe it or not, I've actually lost sleep over this, but I will be keeping an eye on it, and I'll be sure to keep you updated. These shallots in this bed I'm going to pull. They're not as big as the ones down the bottom end, but we could use a few shallots, and I want this bed for growing a winter crop in. And it makes sense to me to grow any winter crop next to the house. These shallots are grown from seed, and there's two types in this bed. One's called Ambition and the other type is called Conserva. I've been growing these shallots for quite a number of years now, and they've always performed extremely well. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've also grown some Zabroon shallots this year, and I'm not sure where they are. Let's go find them. There they are, and some of the leaves are falling over. These are ready to pull. I tried to grow Zabroon a few years ago with no success at all, but I decided to give them another go this year, and in fact I'm glad I have. Some of these are a decent size, a few are a bit small, but these will do for me. Okay, so in the bed that we grew the shallots in, I'm gonna mulch it with a little bit of soil that I got from the bed that we grew the peas in. I'm gonna add a little bit of shake and feed, and we are gonna plant a winter crop. In this bed I'm going to grow, and I know I said that I was never going to grow them again and that I meant it, but I'm going to see if we can grow some Brussels sprouts for Christmas. I was down at the nursery the other day and I saw that they had this 8-pack of Brussels for $3, and I thought to myself, go on then, let's give them a go. Right, as some of you know, I once won a prestigious Brussels growing competition against some very formidable opposition, and I have the trophy to prove it. Okay, so joking aside, I'm just going to put a handful of dolomite lime on top of the bed. I'm then going to push the seedling into the soil whilst firming in the lime around the roots as I go. And with the spares, I'm pretty much going to do the same. I'm just going to press them into these 1-gallon pots, and I'm going to grow these along in the greenhouse until the pot bound, and then I'll set them out much later in the year. Up on the fence here I have a bunch of dwarf French beans. These are stringless pod, I think is the variety, and these are in these, I don't know, fence containers, whatever you call them, the thing that has the groove down the middle so they sit on top of fences. And I believe I got about 30 plants to each pot, which is about 10 by 20, but they do grow very well next to each other, and these are about ready for harvesting. Beans are another one of our favourites, but we haven't grown bush beans for a couple of years. Generally we prefer to grow the pole beans, but this year being what it is, the pole beans didn't want to germinate, so we started off a whole bunch of bush beans as a backup, and then the next thing, as you can guess, all the pole beans germinated, and now we have beans everywhere. These are the Nebulous Ultra peas that I got from Bill and Val, and we harvested a few, but I wanted to make sure that we had enough to save for seed. Unfortunately, I've saved way too many, and it looks like I'm going to be passing on a few seeds to the needy over the winter months. Same with the Kent Blue. I've reserved way too many for seed storage, but these have been a pleasure to grow. I mean, look at the pods on these. The skin is really thin. They almost look like an emaciated animal carcass. How bloody cool are these? Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks now since I started this video, and it's been about 5 days since I pruned the tomato plants back and sprayed them down, and I'm happy to say that things have not got any worse since. So hopefully we might get some tomatoes this year. Like I say, I will keep you updated. Right now I think it's time for a beer. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section below, and if you haven't subscribed, ding the bell and I'll send you the bill later. Cheers.